Hey gamers, welcome back. In this video we will talk about best upcoming single player games that release in 2024 or in started 2025 that requires minimum 12 GB of RAM. So without wasting any more, let's start the video. Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is an upcoming action role-play game. Crimson Desert is set in a medieval fantasy world on a continent called Pever. The main character is a mercenary who finds himself beleaguered by a burdens of leadership and painful memories of his past. The game was originally planned as a prequel to Black Desert Online, but the development of the game eventually transformed into something else and the game changed into a single-player game set in the same universe. Banishers Ghost of New Eden. It is third-person action role-play game. In the game, the player assumes control of a pair of ghost hunters named Antioch Doherty and Red Masquerade. The pair goes on a mission to investigate a small but haunted community named New Eden. Though Doherty becomes a ghost in the process, players can make use of both Wraith's conventional weaponry and Dot Spirit's abilities to combat hostile enemies. In the game, the players will have to make numerous choices.
Do we part forever?
And why do the bad folks always win?
Black Myth Wukong. It is an upcoming action role-play game. The player controls a monkey based on Sun Wukong, referred to in the game as the Distant One, to fight through an assortment of enemies. The player also has the ability to transform into a flying insect or a giant monster.
Pray enlighten me. What justifies your superiority?
Avowed. Avowed is an action role-play game played from a first-person perspective. Players assume control of an envoy from the Adder Empire who has arrived to the remote region named the Living Lands to investigate a mysterious plague. Players can use magic, melee weapons, and firearms such as pistols to defeat enemies. The game features several skill trees which allow players to unlock more powerful abilities as they progress in the game. Weapons can also be individually upgraded. While Avowed is not a full open world game, the game features several large open zones for players to explore.
The Empire?
Star Wars Outlaws. Experience the first ever open world Star Wars game set between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Explore the distinct planets across the galaxy, both iconic and new. Risk it all as Kivas, a scoundrel seeking freedom and the means to start a new life. Along with her companion, fight, steal and outwit your way through the galaxy's crime syndicates as you join the galaxy's most wanted.
And now,
Arc 2. Arc 2 will be placed after the final expansion to the first game from 2021. Though there was a never huge emphasis placed on story in the first place, Studio Wildcard did confirm with GameSpot that no gameplay would be shown in 2023 and that the first trailer showing the game in action would come sometime in 2024. Jurassic Park Survival. Survive thrilling first-person action as engine scientist Dr. Maya Joshi, who was unable to evacuate Isla Nublar in this single-player action-adventure game and discover a never-before-told story. Through thrilling encounters, experience the wonder and danger of dinosaurs, each with their distinct and adaptive behaviors brought to life by John Hammond's vision. Adventure through a fully realized Isla Nublar filled with reactive wildlife, dinosaurs, and other surprising threats. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It is an upcoming action-adventure stealth video game. It is a remake of 2004 game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the fifth main entry in the Metal Gear franchise and the first chronological game overall. Like the original, the remake is set in 1964 and follows a Fox operative codenamed Neg Studio, who must save a Russian rocket scientist and sabotage the Shagod.
This place.
Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. It is a third-person action-adventure game. It carries over the concepts and gameplay elements of its predecessors, including permadeath, utilizing puzzles and runes to advance, and an examination of Senua's mental state. A new fighting system, more dynamic and realistic than the previous one, will also be included in the game. Along with the Senua's own background and connection, the game will go deeper into the Norse mythology and history that served as inspiration for the narrative. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is an upcoming survival horror video game developed by Bloober Team and published by Konami. It is a remake of 2001 game of the same name, originally developed by Team Silent. It will be the first major installment in the Silent Hill series since Silent Hill Downpour 2012. Like the original game, it follows James Sutherland, a widower who returns to the eponymous town of Silent Hill upon receiving a letter from his deceased wife Mary, who claims to be waiting there for him. Pacific Drive. Pacific Drive is a survival game played from a first-person perspective. The game is set to the Olympic exclusive zone in the Pacific Northwest, which the player traverses on foot or in a station wagon. The player can customize their vehicle in their garage, which acts on their base of operations. Vehicle diagnostics are carried out using the headset.
Yourself in a life-threatening situation, you may at times borrow from your surroundings. Is not liable for any entropic reconstitution that occurs to you or your loved ones should you interact with the instability.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. It is presented mainly from the first-person perspective. Before the game begins, the game takes place in Seattle, where the player may explore and interact with non-player characters in a variety of ways. The player will be able to all themselves with different factions and deal with enemies in a variety of ways. As a vampire, the player character needs blood to survive and can feed on humans. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. It is an upcoming third-person shooter hack-and-slash video game. In Warhammer, the player engages enemy using a mix of both melee and ranged combat from a third-person point of view. The player controls Titus, a lieutenant of Ultramarines chapter. Titus is accompanied by fellow Space Marine
Come forth and be slaughtered.